Hi, thanks for jumping into the channel with me. Today we are going to talk about 7 different ways to make your characters distinct and different from each other, and most importantly, how to make them not all sound like you. So let's jump right into it. The first tip that I have is to base your characters off of real people. Doing this provides distinct advantages. The first one is that you don't have to guess at how your character is going to react in any situation. You can think to yourself, how does the person I'm basing this off of, how would they react? And then you can just write that down. It really simplifies the character writing process. The second advantage is that if you know someone like that, the odds are pretty high that your reader also knows someone like that person. This means if you do it right, the character will really resonate with your reader. So, the second tip I have for you is to provide a background for your characters. This sounds simple, but it's a really powerful tool to help provide your characters different motivations. The character's background should make sense with things that they are good at and things that they are bad at, and we're going to talk about that idea a little bit later. The third tip I have for you is to try giving your character one or two characters distinct character traits. For example, if you make one character really shy, now you do this with the understanding that no trait is definite, and then you can ask yourself, what would need to happen for this character to go outside of that trait? What would need to happen for a shy character to talk to people? What needs to be at stake? And if you do this, you can gain ideas for conflict that would be interesting in your story. The fourth tip that I have for you is that every character needs motivations of their own. Okay, your characters need to come off like real people, and real people care about themselves. They don't care about what you're doing, they care about what they're doing. And this is how characters in books should also be written. These motivations should be, especially for characters with large amounts of screen time, they should be clear or at least easily decipherable as the story goes on. If a character kills another character, it should align with their motivation somehow. If it doesn't align with motivations, it just comes off as like, oh, why did that character do that? That didn't need to happen, and it won't resonate with your reader as much. So, the next tip I have for you, tip number 5, give your characters strengths. This is important because if a character is really bad at everything, which is something that I think new writers struggle with more often, is they take their main character, and they just kind of make him or her a complete loser who's just terrible at everything. And that is no good because it makes your character really flat and uninteresting. If you give your character at least one thing that they're good at, it gives the reader a reason to keep reading. So the next tip I have, the 6th tip, number 6, is that you should give your characters weaknesses and flaws. Weaknesses and flaws are often more interesting than the strengths because your character is accomplishing something despite their challenges and their weaknesses that they have, and everyone loves an underdog story. So that's 6 ways to make your characters distinct and different from each other and different from you. So the seventh tip, the seventh tip I have for you is actually an exercise. So take two different characters that you have and write a scene from the point of view of one character. And then take that scene and rewrite it from the point of view of a second character and see what they notice that's different about that scene. Maybe it's a forest scene. What does one character notice as opposed to the other? How does your character describe something versus how does this character describe something? Another great exercise is to have two different characters describe the same object, and then you can see how they describe it differently. So those are my 7 tips for making your characters distinct from each other and hopefully not sound like yourself as the writer. Thanks for listening. If you like the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, thanks for watching.